What's good, fam? Young Thug just forced the Fulton County DA to cough up $149,000 in cash while he is still behind bars. And the state finally admitted they have no proof his lifestyle came from anything but rap music. Things just got real weird because the prosecution spent 2 years calling that money dirty, but now they are folding their hand and giving the man his property back.
I got a check, I just got a check for $650,000. I'm in the studio, she bring me the check. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, got a check.
This settlement from June 20th, 2024 confirms that every asset seized during that massive raid on his Buckhead home back in May of 2022 is going back to his estate. We are talking about a massive bag of cash and high-end machinery that sat in an impound lot while the state tried to invent a story about its origin. This is not just about the money, because Thug is also getting his 2022 Mercedes-Benz Maybach S580 and his 2021 Chevrolet Corvette back from the state. For over 700 days, the DA office tried to claim these luxury rides were bought with street money, but they could not find a single receipt to back up that talk.
$100,000 is life. So,
Now, they have to hand over the keys and the cash while the trial is still going on, which is a massive flex for the whole YSL camp. It is honestly nasty work to hold a man's legitimate bread for 2 years just to realize you have no case against his bank account. This property has been in police custody since they swarmed that Buckhead mansion, and the state was dead set on calling it the fruits of a criminal enterprise. They wanted the world to think every dollar Thug made was dirty, but this settlement proves they were dead wrong from the jump. When you are a Grammy-winning artist with platinum plaques, you do not need to move weight to buy a Maybach, and the DA office is finally waking up to that. This is a huge shift in the energy of the case because it shows the financial backbone of these RICO charges is looking incredibly weak right now.
It was weird.
I didn't hear him say that, but I can.
Thank you, Your Honor. Renew our motion for mistrial.
Denied. Okay, what else?
We are now being excluded from a conversation about material witness. And Your Honor, reviewing that creates the appearance of it. So after.
You have to give all the credit to Brian Steele because the man is putting on a straight masterclass in that courtroom. As the lead attorney, Steele has been dogging the prosecution for 2 years and demanding they prove this money was obtained through illegal means. He stood his ground and argued that the $149,000 came from a career that has dominated hip-hop for over a decade. While the state tried to label YSL as a gang, Steele proved that Jeffrey Williams is a legitimate businessman who stacks his paper legally. Fani, Willis, and the Fulton County DA office looked at the evidence and realized they were about to lose a high-stakes game of chicken. Instead of fighting a mini-trial over the cash and the cause, they chose to settle the civil matter and walk away before they got embarrassed even more.
Nick, the guy that said he's going to report Miss Love, he had a vacation to go on like this week, so he couldn't represent Woody. So now Woody's been having this Miss Bumpus lady. But I don't think Woody wants her as his lawyer, and she doesn't want to be there either.
Is it your desire to release your counsel at this point in time?
By dismissing the forfeiture, the state is admitting they do not have the receipts to link these assets to any criminal conduct. Steele is playing chess at a grandmaster level, while the prosecution is out here playing checkers with a man's lifestyle and reputation. The prosecution was terrified of the discovery process because it would have shown that Thug's money comes from streaming, touring, and publishing deals. They settled because they knew that if a jury saw the real financial records, the whole idea of a criminal enterprise would fall apart. This is a massive win for the defense because it kills the state's attempt at character assassination.
Like, everybody in the world was against Tupac because he was a thug. So you gotta have a bad guy. You got to. If you don't have people like us, who the fuck you gonna blame?
They wanted to make him look like a kingpin, but they ended up looking like they robbed a successful artist and had to give the money back. This settlement is a calculated move because the state finally realized that a trial over the Maybach would show a jury how weak their financial evidence is. When the district attorney cannot prove that $149,000 came from a crime, it kills their argument that YSL is a criminal organization. The state is clearly terrified of what happens when their financial experts have to go toe-to-toe with Thug's legitimate business records in open court. By returning the money now, they are trying to avoid setting a precedent that validates his career as a legitimate success story.
Because I'm always like, if I got $1 trillion or $100,000, it's better than what I was born with. I was born with nothing. Even if I got tricked, or even if I could do better, even if you like, man, you're not a rapper, I like the way Thug handle business. So that's honest, you know what I'm saying? That's being real.
They are basically handing him back the symbols of his success. This is what happens when a narrative hits a brick wall of facts. Brian Steele is the man who built that wall, and the state underestimated a legal team that actually knows how to track real money. Holding onto his property for 2 years just to give it back is a terrible look for a prosecution claiming to have an airtight case. This surrender shows a total lack of confidence, and it makes you wonder what else the state might be lying about in this trial. They spent years trying to convince the public that every luxury car was paid for with street money, but these receipts tell a different story. When a jury realizes he earns a fortune through publishing and sold out arenas, the gang leader story looks like a fairy tale.
So basically, I don't like, bro, imagine nigga, bro, we fighting to say YSL is not a gang. Me and Bank best friend, they're my mans.
Fani Willis and her team wanted to evict him from his status as a successful artist, but the math on that Maybach proved they were wrong. The prosecution understood they were walking straight into a buzzsaw if they tried to challenge Brian Steele on where that money originated. A mini trial over the cars and the cash would have allowed the defense to bring in experts who could explain the massive revenue from a platinum rap career. It would have made the state look ridiculous to argue that a Grammy winner with international fame needs to commit street crimes to afford a high-end lifestyle in Buckhead. This retreat proves the prosecution cares more about saving their failing RICO story than actually proving that any financial misconduct took place. They handed back the bag and the keys because losing a civil forfeiture hearing would have signaled the end for the entire criminal case.
Nick, the guy that said he was going to report Miss Love, he had a vacation to go on like this week, so he couldn't represent Woody. So now Woody's been having this Miss Bumpus lady. But I don't think Woody wants her as his lawyer, and she doesn't want to be there either.
Is it your desire to release your counsel at this point in time?
And everyone else.
This is literally a Key and Peele skit.
Young Thug and me.
The situation is bizarre because the state claims he is a dangerous gang leader while admitting his $149,000 was earned legally. You simply cannot have it both ways when your whole case relies on the idea that this gang exists only to generate profit. When they separated the cash from the crimes, the state basically admitted that YSL as a business is totally separate from the street activity being prosecuted. This move leaves a huge hole in the RICO logic that Brian Steele will definitely exploit as this trial continues to move forward. The state is attempting damage control, but returning a Maybach and 6 figures in cash sends a very loud message to everyone following this case. This victory does not end the RICO charges immediately, but it gives the defense a huge psychological advantage in front of Judge Earl Glanville. For the rest of the trial, Brian Steele will likely use this return of property to argue the state completely misunderstands black success and rap wealth. He will keep hammering the point that the prosecution saw a successful black man with money and assumed it was illegal because they ignored the hip-hop economy. The DA settling this civil matter right now suggests they are prioritizing criminal charges because their financial evidence was failing in a spectacular way. They are trying to cut their losses and focus on wiretaps and lyrics because those bank statements were not giving them the results they needed. We can expect more challenges to that criminal enterprise label as the trial moves into 2025 because the foundation of the case is cracked.
I got a check, I just got a check for $650,000. I'm in the studio, she bring me the check. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, got a check.
If the enterprise did not generate the money used to buy that Maybach, it becomes unclear what exactly the prosecution is even trying to prove. Brian Steele will turn this return of property into a recurring theme by reminding the jury that the state had to return supposedly dirty money. This creates a seed of doubt that will grow every time the prosecution makes a bold claim without having the proper receipts to back it up. The psychological hit to the prosecution is massive because they lost one of their biggest talking points before the trial even reached the climax. They wanted to use that $149,000 as a smoking gun to represent the crimes that supposedly fueled the YSL empire. Now that weapon has been taken away and handed right back to the man they are trying to lock up for the rest of his life. This suggests a level of desperation in the DA office that shows they are finally realizing the scale of the challenge Brian Steele has created. Every day that Thug sits in a cell while his Maybach is being polished in a garage makes the state story look like total fiction. The defense has proven they can win these small battles, which gives them the momentum they need to fight the larger RICO charges with total confidence. The state is focusing on the criminal side because they lost the battle for the bank account, even though the money and crime are linked. By giving up that money, they admitted that the core of their enterprise argument was based on a completely false assumption from the very start.
I got like a 9 or 12 bedroom house.
before we move on and see how Brian Steele is about to paint this prosecution as a group of clout chasers who don't care about the facts, tell me if y'all think the state just admitted their RICO case is a total reach by giving that property back. Drop your takes in the comments, no cap, and hit that like and subscribe button to stay in the loop. Let's continue. Moving forward, the YSL legal team is going to frame the prosecution as a group that cares way more about getting headlines than actually following the facts. Using that 2-year delay in returning the property is going to be his main way to prove this whole investigation was biased and vindictive from the jump. Brian Steele already showed he is not scared of the judge or the district attorney, and he is using this settlement to show the jury that state power has limits. The state thought they could freeze Thug's life in his bank accounts forever, but they learned that a high-level defense team can make even the most stubborn prosecutors fold. Things are getting strange because every symbol of power the prosecution had is being handed back to the defendant piece by piece. They had to give back the cars and then the cash, and now the defense is betting they can get the man himself back next. Before we see how the state tries to bounce back from this massive financial loss, I want to hear what you think about this move by the district attorney.
It was weird.
I didn't hear him say that, but I can.
Thank you, Your Honor. Renew our motion for mistrial.
Denied. Okay,
Thank
what
you.
else?
We are now being excluded from a conversation about material witness. And Your Honor, is doing that, but creates the appearance of it. So I have to.
Because the state could not hold on to a Maybach they took 2 years ago, it is hard to imagine a jury believing they can keep young Thug behind bars. Let me know in the comments if you think Brian Steele is about to walk Thugger right out of that courtroom for real. Make sure you like and subscribe while you are down there so you do not miss any more updates on this YSL trial. And let's keep the momentum going.